I had 3 medical emergencies this morning. That is how I started my day as a medical registrar. Yeah, you heard that right, guys. I'm a medical registrar. Here are my stories. Hey guys, my name is Ibreez, and I currently work as a doctor in the NHS. As a part of my training as an internal medicine trainee, the 3rd year is dedicated to being a medical registrar. So this is a new thing. It used to be that you would do 2 years as a CMT or core medical trainee, and then when you joined your specialty training as a ST3, you would be the med reg. But this new fashionable thing that they've come together that they call internal medicine training, they thought, hey, why don't we give these kids an opportunity to step up and learn a little bit and not get too overwhelmed by the whole history and science of having all this responsibility in a short amount of time. So that's what I'm doing today. Today I am one of the medical registrars on the day. I'm covering the wards, so the bleep that I'm carrying mainly of any other cover doctors, resus, any ill patients on the ward.
So, here we are, guys, the life of a medical registrar. I came to the hospital early in the morning, before anyone else was there, and I looked upon it and I wondered what could await me today. Well, first of all, this is a day shift, so my day started at 9 a.m. I'm expecting it to finish at 10 p.m. I could be doing, what's part of the day take, which is seeing and admitting patients if they are referred to me or if they're generally unwell in ED resus. Otherwise, I'll be covering the wards. Somebody might call me on any ward, surgical, medical, obs, gynae, what have you, and say, this looks like we need a medical registrar review. And then, of course, there's the night shift, which is from 9:30 p.m. until 10 a.m. And effectively, it covers the same thing. Of course, I'm not the only medical registrar on. In the morning, our hospital typically has 2 medical registrars. At night now, they said they're trying to get 3. So it's either going to be 2 or 3, but it's always a good addition to have extra hands on board so you know what you're doing. A lot of people will also say that the medical registrar job is so stressful, but really, guys, yes, there's a lot happening at once. You need to know how to prioritize, you need to know what you're doing, and you need to follow your local protocols. I always find that that's the most important thing. But of course, before any of that starts or any of that happens, you must do the best thing ever, and that is get into some scrubs. Because without scrubs, you're on the wards, you're seeing yucky stuff, you don't want to bring any of that home. So wear some nice, comfy scrubs and then basically get on your day.
The exciting thing also about today is that this is a locum shift. And on top of it being a locum shift, they needed a medical registrar at the last minute. So they gave me the locum shift at an escalated rate. So the escalated rate is £75 an hour. Normally for this level, it's £60 an hour. So that's a nice little extra incentive to do some learning. The other med reg who's on with me today is super great, really helpful, has done this for a while, so it's great to have that extra support. But let me tell you a little bit about what I was doing and how I was doing it today. So, let's start with the morning. I woke up. It was raining. I decided, okay, we're gonna have to take a pause, because here's the reality of being a med reg. You get bleeped all the time. Hi there, it's Ibreez Medical Reg. How can I help?
So, as you can pretty clearly see, I will get bleeped fairly often and fairly regularly throughout my day. These bleeps don't necessarily mean that I need to see the patient every single time. I might be getting a page, let's say from a nurse who has some concern that I can solve by just giving some advice over the phone. If I feel that the patient's really unwell and warrants a registrar review, I will go and see them. If I feel it's something the cover doctor can do, I'll just give a call to the cover doctor and be like, hey, can you stick your head in and see about this patient? And then if you have any other concerns, just get back to me. Sometimes even, the on-call radiologist calls me and says, we've got a patient from this department who has the scan done, this is what's come back, and then I can advise what needs to be done either by going myself onto the ward or, of course, speaking to the cover doctor. And as we go now, guys, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to head off towards the mess. Breaks are really important, even as a medical registrar. Yes, I'm being constantly bleeped, but at every instant, if you have a chance to sit down, please sit down, have a sip of water, think about yourself. There are on-call rooms as well. These on-call rooms are typically used on night shifts, so here is one of our on-call rooms at Derriford. But yeah, it's just, if you want to kick up your feet for a little bit, maybe, I don't know, you decide to take a shower, maybe after your night shift in the morning before you head off for your day. But basically, it's a place for you to take some rest. Otherwise, if you are not in the on-call room, you can just go to the mess. The mess is always a really great option because sometimes you just want to talk to people too. You just don't have to, shy away and be, oh, guys, I'm the medical registrar now. I don't associate with plebs anymore. But the mess is always a really great place to sit, and sometimes I run into Ibrahim, we have to pretend like we're associating with each other at work. And yeah, watch some TV, put up your feet, relax. And the nice thing is on the weekends as well, we get some food and we have our lunch, and also remembering, yes, hydration, food, breaks. It's an important triad. Remember a lot of triads when we go through med school, but this is one you should never forget.
It's been like 2 hours, and in that time I had about, I want to say 10 bleeps and another medical emergency, but it's been okay. It's actually not bad. I know a lot of people balk at this whole you'll be bleeped all the time thing, but you don't really get bleeped about crazy things that are unnecessary. Like sometimes you get bleeped about the weirdest things. I think a lot of what I got bleeped about today was either troubleshooting where doctors should be for cover shifts because we were a little short. Besides that, making sure, everyone who was seeing the patients was fine with what they were seeing. We got a lot of new F1s because it's changeover. So what I like to do, at least middle of the day or early afternoon, is just give everyone a call, bleep everyone who's on cover, and just see how they're doing. And if they feel like they need any extra help, or that they feel like they're, on top of their jobs, have they had their lunch? The most important thing, have they had a break? Beyond that, though, it's not much to it. I say this now, but who knows? I've still got, it's only 4 o'clock. I've still got a couple hours. Got a handover at 9:30 in the evening, so things may change. Hopefully they won't. But a little bit of insight into the type of patients I've seen today. So I have seen a couple of patients in ED resus who were admitted generally unwell with a DKA. Had a lady with a background of alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency who came in with what looks like a new pneumothorax. I have some, I've just got a whole list of things. You just keep a lot of little papers in your pocket. Some people do that, some people like people have a little notebook, but it's like to each your own. There were some patients that needed reviewing in case they went and became unwell, but nothing too bad actually today in that sense. I've got some PLIM patients. A PLIM is the portion of our ward where, or in our hospital, if we suspect they may have COVID, they come in through there and we try and get them a COVID swab and decide where they go. I've got 2 there currently who may potentially have COVID that I need to just check on after they've had their preliminary tests done. And some other kind of really basic, this patient's had a fall, what kind of concerns type things. The medical emergencies, let's see. So the first medical emergency this morning, actually, it was in the hallway, which is actually not an unusual occurrence. If any of you guys have dealt with met calls, you will find that they can be in any place possible. In our hospital, our range of where we can go is pretty big. It even extends into the parking lot, so you might have to go out there. Thankfully, I've not had to go to the parking lot yet. There's somebody who had a faint, fell and kind of bit their nose. Literally right while I was assessing that patient, there was another met call on the oncology ward for a patient. That patient was quite unwell, but the other med reg came in time because thankfully they did. I got another met call back to the same hallway, but for a different patient who fainted also. It makes you wonder what is going on in that hallway. But both of them were fine. I sent them off to ED to get assessed further. Back to the patient upstairs, who's actually still pretty unwell, needed ICU support. Spoke with the ICU reg, got some stuff arranged, got a scan done, and it turns out they had a small bowel obstruction. But they're doing okay. The cover doctors now manage them, and there's no real big issues. I think sometimes as a med reg you kind of forget to take care of yourself a little bit. So the important things, of course, are whenever you're taking a phone call or answering a page, sit down, breathe, drink some water. I had a water bottle with me at some point. I think I left it on MAU. I'll get back to it eventually. I've had a little bit of caffeine, feeling energized, ready to see more patients and do more things. I think overall though, it's not too bad. That one's not my bleep for once. I am not getting paged. But I'm liking it, so let's see how the rest of the day goes.
Just finishing up from yet another medical emergency, and I realized the time had caught up with me, and I had to get over to handover. So handover, all of the day cover doctors will come. I'll have the other medical registrar as well. The night team will come up along with the acute care team, and we will discuss about any really sick or ill patients or patients we need to be aware of on the wards so that they have a proper review overnight, and if need be, they can also be handed over in the morning. Look at that. Done. It's 10 p.m., but I have survived my first shift as a medical registrar. And now reflecting on it, I'm just like, so much better than being an SHO. Because people listen to what you have to say, and you don't have to do crazy, ridiculous things, for the most part. I had another met call, a couple of other sick patients to see a patient was using at a 12, and some GP referrals. All in all, a pretty well-rounded, productive med-reg day. No cardiac arrest, but I never usually get cardiac arrest. I've never actually gotten a cardiac arrest ever being on call. So, I don't know why. People do die when I work, but they just don't have heart attacks. I don't know why that is.
That's good.
I guess. Alright, heading out. Let's see what happens.
So talk about your day.
I think pretty much talked about my day. It was a good day. I don't think being a medical registrar is necessarily as scary as people put it down to. You just got to, again, go through that A to E, see what's happening with the patient, go through their GP records or any information that's provided. Take as much information as you can to understand your next steps. I won't say I did everything perfectly today. I was really well supported by someone who's done this for a while, but it was a good way for me to start my med-reg journey. I'm actually not that tired. I thought I would be more exhausted. I feel like I'm more exhausted after cover shifts as an SHO, or maybe it's just the adrenaline of, oh my god, people are listening to me. But med-reg life. So yes, thank you for joining me on my day shift as a medical registrar. I'm going to be a night reg pretty soon. That might have me talking a whole different story, but y'all will see that in a couple of weeks' time. So until next time, please guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out our newsletter. We say some pretty cool stuff, and come back and hang out with us. Bye.